What's up, man?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Hold on, let me get this thing set up here. Good, man. It's Friday afternoon,
Yeah.
That's the best part for me.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm off on the weekend. I'm gonna be
Nice.
going out in the boat and just chilling out for the entire weekend. So yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm
Beautiful.
this is probably gonna be the last thing I do.
Oh yeah. Nice.
How about you?
Sorry to
Everything good?
bug you to do a bit more work before you gotta go relax,
Oh
eh?
man, it's all good. It's all good. I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to do it. I do appreciate you guys doing what you do, and like
Thank
I
you.
said in the review, it's actually nice to get a company that actually does what they say they're going to do. So
Yeah,
rare
you left the
nowadays.
Trustpilot review for us. We appreciate that too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's rarity to have a company do what they say they're going to do, and I've done a couple of other AI bots as well, and none of them have done, you know, any good to me whatsoever. So it's refreshing to actually get one that actually works.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
pretty low bar. Pretty low bar set though, eh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, so many people just run you around and tell you, oh, well, this is the best one out there, and you're going to find all these great returns and all these huge returns, and they don't talk about capital preservation being
Yeah.
obviously, one of the main things that they should be bringing up. And they promise you huge returns, and you look at what you're getting, and next thing $2,500 of your capital is gone. Forget
Yeah.
about any gains. You've lost
Yeah.
some of your money, and it just the ones that I've used in the past have never worked out.
Zero
So
success, eh?
yeah, it's nice to see that capital preservation is that, and that's one of the things that actually kind of drew me to you guys, because that was one of the
For sure.
first things that you brought up. None of the other
Yeah.
companies even mentioned that, and when you're giving somebody 10, 12, 15 grand of your money, you don't want to look at the statement and go, oh, I'm now down to 10 grand. What happened to the money?
Yeah.
you know and they're, oh, well, we're having, the bot's not doing what we thought it would do, or whatever the case may be, and now you're
Mm.
out 5 grand.
Yeah.
So it's definitely nice to look at the statement and actually see a gain. I mean, I know that you guys don't trade it every day, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it to be traded every day. There's no sense in forcing something, but the trades that it makes are pretty spot on. And
Yeah, the
it's
Gold Algo is pretty, it's like a sniper, right? It sits there and it waits for a really good opportunity. It doesn't like to overtrade. So
right.
sometimes it might be boring though for some people because some customers that use the Gold Algo, I think it hasn't had a losing month since last year. Obviously, not to say it can't have another one. It could have one tomorrow, but
Sure.
it's been
Yeah.
going really well in 2026. The only complaints we're getting is differences with spreads depending on what broker the customer uses. Because some brokers have really crappy spreads. So like the
Uh,
master account might do 6% that month, and then the customer got like 2 or 3 because the spread on the broker is entering them in at a way worse price. So that's why if you go with one of the ones we
okay.
recommend, it's going to be much closer.
Right.
The only other complaint that we would ever get would be, why hasn't there been any trades for 8 days? But then I
Yeah.
go, hey, if you just give it a little bit more time and wait for it to trade, and then you'll see. So we actually just had a customer saying that a few weeks ago because there was a stagnant period. We didn't have trades for almost the whole week, I think. And then right at the end of the week or the beginning of the next week, it banged off like 3% profit in one day. And then they messaged us in their support chat, and they're like, "Oh my God, I just did 3% in a day." They're like, "I take back what I said." Like, I'm
Right.
good with it
Yeah.
not trading every single day because this is the
Yeah.
result that I'm happy with it. And so that's how the
Absolutely.
gold algo trades,
Absolutely.
anyways.
Yeah.
The quantum
Well,
algo trades a lot more frequently, and it also carries drawdown, and some people don't like that. But that's why we have
right.
more than one that you can choose from. That actually they both work really good in their own way, but they do work
Yeah.
together.
Well, I'm super happy with the gold decision that I made. Obviously,
Good.
I'm not familiar with the other one, but with it not trading, it's actually kind of trading in a way, because it's not taking bad trades.
True.
Because I trade futures, and I did 2 trades today, the whole day.
Yeah.
So and I would rather take 2 favorable trades than 6 crappy trades.
Yeah.
So and a lot of people, I think, that aren't used to trading either futures or gold, may not realize that you have to wait for the proper opportunity, and it doesn't matter if it trades once a day or twice a day, as long as they're positive trades. That's really all that matters.
100%. Yeah.
And I went into it knowing that, but a lot of people may not realize that, oh, well, it didn't trade today. Well, there wasn't an opportunity for it to trade today.
Gotcha.
So, you've
Yeah.
got to look at the overall, look at it in 6 months or 8 months. That's, you don't look at it's like the stock market. You don't look at your stuff every day. You'll go for
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
you know. But look at it, like I'm with Ox Securities. I think I got a statement this week, which I did look at, but last week I didn't look at it because I know that if there's an issue, it's going to get caught. I think it only had out of all the trades that it did, it only had one bad trade, and it was
Yeah.
like $25.
Yeah.
You know,
Gold has like a 75, 80% win rate. So still,
yeah,
two out of every 10 trades, you'll see there will be losers. And sometimes it'll, because it trades so infrequently and it doesn't hold trades open, it occasionally will go on a losing streak, right? So you can't avoid that with trading. You trade futures, you know that. You can't always have
right,
a good week every single week. And sometimes
right,
you also can have a bad month. But I think a profitable system is a system that has at least 10 or 11 good months per year. And those good months
sure.
always outweigh the negatives, then long term, you're always going to be profitable. And I think that's really like,
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
the
and
recipe
that's
there.
what this is for me. It's a long-term investment. I'll look at it, I'll look at it once a month, and that I don't really need to look at it any more than that. And this thing is pretty spot on. And I'm
It's a
I'm
sniper.
actually pleasantly surprised with because you guys had showed me some stats before I actually, pulled the trigger and went with you. You showed me some stats on what it did, the year before and
Mhm.
so far this year. And I was actually pleasantly surprised at what you actually showed me this thing is actually doing. And
Yeah.
again, a lot of times that does not happen with a lot of the other platforms or trading algorithms out there. And you guys were really helpful with getting me set up. As far as getting it connected to the actual bot, and really the customer support all the way through.
Yeah,
As
Travis and Annabelle were good.
Yeah, they were great.
Good.
They actually sent me. I was having a problem seeing the chart, and
Perfect.
they actually sent me like a recorded video type of thing so I could look at the chart. And I mean, you look at the chart, and you see like a one trade for like 5 seconds. I'm like, how the hell did it make $25 in 5 seconds? It's amazing the accuracy on it, and
Mhm.
and I'm actually looking to. I think on my original setup with you guys, I think I did two accounts. One I've already funded,
Okay.
and I'm looking to fund the other one now. That was one of the questions I had for you on the funding for the additional account.
Yeah.
What is the recommended amount to put in there? Is it like 10 and above or 5 and above? What would you say would be a safe number to put in there?
Well, the gold algo trades 0.01 lot for every $1,000. So theoretically, you could put 1,000, but that is still a very low threshold. But it doesn't need to be
Right.
10K plus. You could probably safely put in at least a few K or above, and
Okay.
then for gold, you're fine.
Okay.
For
So I could open.
quantum is 10K plus because the one of the like we have a couple different master accounts for quantum. One of the
Okay.
master accounts, the smallest one's 10 grand. So if they can safely operate with 10K or above, that would mean the customer needs to have 10K or above. For gold, it does 0.01 lots for every thousand. So you could do a couple thousand or above, and that should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually have some of that money saved up, so I'll be contacting you, I guess. I'm not sure if I contact you or Leslie or somebody else to get that other account set up.
Yeah, just rate in the support chat. Annabelle or Travis can help you set it up, but all you do is log into your broker account and click apply live account, and then you'll open up another one and
Okay.
then deposit funds. And when you deposit funds, just choose that one to deposit the funds into, and
Okay.
then we can connect that one too. No, no biggie.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I currently have two Ox accounts now. One of them is funded with you guys. The other one only has like $500 in it. Could I use that other Ox account, or would I have to
It's just one
combine?
Ox account, but it's a different MT5 on the same
Okay,
account.
got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's just a new MT5 on the same account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I actually recommended you guys to my son-in-law. He's going to be
Okay.
contacting you probably towards around October timeframe.
Gotcha.
He works for Microsoft and he gets his bonus on October 1st.
Oh, okay.
So when he's ready to go, I'll maybe we'll do a quick Zoom call with him on there so he can get set up with you guys. He's actually a trader too. He trades the market. He doesn't trade futures.
Oh, got you.
I was telling him what was going on. He's like, man, that sounds phenomenal. I go, yeah. I said, it's legit. It's the real
Yeah,
deal.
it's a good system, the gold algo.
It really is. Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad. I'm glad you guys kind of steered me in that direction. I have traded gold in the past, so I'm a little bit more familiar with it.
Gotcha.
Right now, I'm trading futures, but gold, I'm a little bit more familiar with, and I know that you can make some pretty good money on it.
Yeah,
So, again, I just wanted to thank you guys. It's been a pleasure working with you. It's been,
appreciate it.
everything that you guys said it would do, it's done. And that's a rarity in this world today.
You're not
People,
wrong. You're not
you
wrong.
know, they
Yeah.
promise you one thing, and then unfortunately, it rarely goes that way. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have contact. When I was opening up the Ox account and the different accounts, it was nice to have some support on that side. Just I pretty much had it handled, but I did have a couple questions, and they were very, very responsive right away through WhatsApp. And again, you guys are the real deal. You're a real company, and it's glad to work with you. It's a pleasure to work with you, and
Yeah.
it's something to recommend it to my family, because I wouldn't recommend it to them if it wasn't legit. Because then I
100%.
you know
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the blowback from them if it doesn't work
Yeah,
out.
because then it's your fault,
Yeah,
right?
of course. It's going to be my fault anyway. If they have a losing month, it's going to be my fault.
Well, you
But
already know trading does carry more risk than just investing in the stock market, but how you control that risk is how you're able to trade successfully or unsuccessfully.
yes, for sure,
So
for
even though
sure. And
you are inherently taking on more risk than say, hey, I advise you to buy this stock. If it's like a
right,
big ETF, right, like a VFV or VUN, like one of the really big ETFs, or like S&P 500, you can't really steer anybody wrong, except they might not make a lot of money in the year that you tell them to buy the S&P 500 because that might be a crappy year for the U.S. stock market.
that's true.
But
Yeah,
5 years later, 10 years later, they're going to be thanking you, right? Because
sure.
down the road, you know it's going to make money.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well, and
so,
and it's definitely a risk, but there's risk reward as well. And with the
100%.
system you guys seem to have set up, the risk is minimal, which is great. And
Yeah,
it's like anything else, man. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. But
yeah,
like you said, is if it's a 70 or 80% win rate, I mean, I'm not even doing that trading futures. I think I'm around 65 or 70 at best.
yeah. That's
So
a
this,
scalping win rate. The high win rates are
yes,
scalp traders.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and that's what I'm doing as well. I traded
nice.
this morning, so again, if this thing's making money over the year, that's all we can ask for.
Yeah,
And I truly appreciate you guys working with me, and I'm glad I found you
no
guys.
problem.
Really, it's been a pleasure for sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate all the kind words big time. If you don't mind me asking, how much you don't have to tell me dollars if you don't not comfortable with the dollars, but like how much money or profit or percentage have you made since you got plugged into the gold algo specifically?
The last time I checked on the account, I believe so I put in I think around 9,500, and the last
Okay.
time I checked on the account it was 13.5. And it started trading. I think I set it up with you guys the very beginning of July, because I was going out of town shortly after that, so I wanted to get it set up before then.
Okay.
I have not checked on it this week, so I don't know what it's up to. But I
Gotcha.
can, I'm happy with the returns that it's only been like a month, maybe a month and a half.
Almost 2 months, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and
13.5%,
yeah,
would you say?
right
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty solid. And that's
I mean,
that's really close to on par with what the master account's done too.
okay,
So if people look at the
that's
masters, the MyFX book, the data that you get showed in the presentation, you can also see that MyFX book anytime. So if anybody else looks at that and they go, oh, July and August did this, I wonder what the customers got. So you're saying
okay.
you're right around 13 and a half. That's basically what the master's done. So that's really good. That
Yeah,
also means the
yeah.
broker that you're using has good spreads because you're not getting gypped, right, on markups and spreads and that's that type of
No,
thing.
no, and I looked at you can see when you open the account, the Ox account, you can see what they're charging, and it's super reasonable, super reasonable.
Yeah.
I would recommend them. They're easy to work with.
Yeah. Good
They're
one.
with. I have not taken a withdrawal. I really don't plan on doing a withdrawal, but I'm sure they're easy to withdraw money from as well, and their spreads
Nice.
are definitely fair, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, they're better. I'm using a system called Ninja Trader now, and they're certainly
Okay.
better than
Yeah.
Ninja Trader. Ninja Trader whacks you. But I mean, and this is a completely hands-off type of system. So it's, there's no sweat off my back. I mean, I look at the account and it's growing.
Yeah.
If this thing, if it grows 13, anything over 8 or 9, I'm thrilled with.
8 or 9% a year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I guess you beat that, you're beating the markets.
right.
And then it
Absolutely.
becomes a worthwhile investment, right? Essentially.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it maintains at 13 or 14%, that's phenomenal. That's probably 4 or 5% of what you're going to get anywhere, really.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to
But
obviously don't want to guarantee or say anything like we should be able to do a lot more than that, but I think we should.
well,
Right? We are trading after all. We're taking a bit more risk than just investing, so we got to be able to get
yeah,
more than 10 or 15% a year. I mean, we have been for years, so let's, hopefully 2026 and 2027 goes very similarly. Even if it's slower paced, we should still be able to crush those numbers. Should.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, I mean, and that's phenomenal. I mean, like I say, that's, I mean, 13, 14% is great. And 20% is, hitting it out. That's hitting a grand slam,
Yeah. And you've done the
and
13 since July. So that's right.
yeah, yeah,
That's
that's
your
that's
annual milestone right there in the first 6 weeks.
yeah. I mean, if I can stay there, I'm more than happy with it.
Oh,
I
heck
think
yeah.
it was around July 7th or 6th or 7th is when I actually got set up with you guys.
Gotcha.
And they actually got me onboarded. And again, I didn't check it this week, but I did check it last week, and it's definitely up. So, I'll monitor it. I'll probably look at it next week, and but again, you guys are the real deal, man. You guys are legit.
Appreciate it. So you
I
said
love
that
it.
so the algo's doing well. You're happy with that. You're
Yes,
happy to see that what we were shown before is actually happening in reality. And you're also
absolutely,
very happy with the customer service and the white glove level of support from all of us, like Travis, Annabelle, the
absolutely,
onboarding, your manager.
absolutely. Yeah, the support staff is phenomenal. I mean, everybody that I've either messaged or reached out to has always gotten back to me like almost immediately, and
Yeah, they
and
work
that is
super hard.
yeah, I mean that alone is worth its weight in gold, because sometimes you send a message to somebody and like a week goes by and there's no
Yeah.
response to it, or no solution to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had a couple of small issues when I was setting things, when I was getting into aux and things like that, and they answered me and kind of walked me through each one of them, and it was very seamless, surprisingly
Good.
seamless. Yeah.
That's how we
So
want it to be.
yeah, and that's how it is. And like I say, the anybody that you deal with over there is very responsive. That goes from the original presentation that I had all the way through to to asking. I had a question the other day, asking a question on that was something silly, and it's just the response is almost immediate, which you guys are phenomenal on it. I love it.
It might be
I'll
like it
definitely be
almost might be too
recommending.
fast because we're setting a really high bar for ourselves when we're there.
Yeah, right, right.
But like
Um,
Annabelle works every day from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. her
yeah,
time. So she'll get on and then she'll just be answering almost immediately every single customer that she has in
yeah,
her support chat in. But then she
yes,
signs off and then it's rather Travis, myself, or Leslie or Emmanuel. But yeah, we
yeah,
generally try to do our best to answer quickly because I look at it from my perspective. If I was the customer and I send a message, if it's not so important, I don't care if I get an answer even till the next day. But if I get an answer the same day for something I didn't even think that was that important, I'm like, whoa. And then I ask an important question and I hope for an answer the same day and I get it, I'd be super happy. So that's the motto. That's how we kind of try to do the customer service because I feel like that's how every business should be, even though it's not that way. But
right.
I think everyone
Yeah,
should do that.
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm a business owner myself, and our motto is get back to the customer the same day. And
Yeah.
if you're not able to, at least leave them a message or reach back to them via email saying, "Hey, listen, I am working on this. I'll get back to you tomorrow."
Yep.
So we have a 24 to 48-hour turnaround time. We always have. And it's nice to see another company that actually does that, because so many companies that we deal with don't.
Yeah.
And you send an email to somebody and you don't ever hear from them. Then you've got to waste time to email them back on the same thing you did 2 days ago. So it's very refreshing to see a company that actually responds as quickly as you guys do, and actually resolves the problem, or answers the question. Not,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'll get back with you, and then nothing
Yeah.
happens.
We'll figure it out and let you know. And then it's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
So
wish more companies could do that, but I'm happy that you're experiencing that with us. So that means we're doing things
absolutely.
correctly.
No, you are for
Good.
sure. And like I say, I wouldn't recommend you to friends or family if you weren't. There are other companies that I've used that, to do the similar type of training, and I would never recommend them.
No,
It's just horrible, horrible experience, loss of money,
not
loss
good.
of time.
Yeah, not
And,
good.
obviously if this is going this well now, I can imagine a year from now or 2 years from now, I'm just going to leave it alone and let it do its thing.
Yeah, we just
And
keep trucking
hopefully,
along.
yeah, yeah, and I'll be reaching back to you probably within a month or so to deposit some additional funds so we can get going on that second account.
Awesome. So
Yeah,
what would
man.
you say you're doing this, you already have a business, you're a trader. You're doing
Yes.
this knowing the risk of trading, so you're allocating obviously like a certain amount, a certain percentage of how much you are comfortable investing in an automated trading system. But what's like kind of like your end goal with it? Are you looking to like build more to kind of help more build towards like more of a retirement? Are you just trying to earn more income? Are you trying to make it so, are you trying to have something you can take profits from once in a while? Like what's your actual goal with using
Yeah.
the Gemeos systems?
Uh, Currently, I'm not going to touch it probably for at least 2 to 3 years. I'm going to let it do its thing.
Gotcha.
But eventually, I would like it to help supplement my income.
Gotcha.
I'm certainly not there yet, and I don't plan on being there anytime soon. That's why I'm just going to kind of let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Um, if there's money to be pulled out, I think I will pull it out and open another account with you guys to
Gotcha.
reinvest. So I may have to jump up to the next to your next platform because I think I only have two accounts available to me now. But I would rather have like 4 or 5 of these accounts trading versus just one. So any money
Gotcha.
that is made currently will be going right back into it.
Gotcha.
And yes, I'm familiar with the potential, I guess, loss, if you will. And but I haven't seen that, and I did not see that through the previous years you guys have been trading this. So I'm
Nice.
very comfortable with reinvesting the money back into it.
And what do you feel about the house money strategy?
The house money?
Money, yeah. So like by the time you've doubled your money, essentially, if you get to the point where your original balance is two times the size or a little bit more, taking
Yeah,
out your original deposit, let's say you put in 50K and then a year later your account's worth 110. Take out that original 50, now you've eliminated a risk entirely, right? And then you just let the house money do its thing.
sure,
Because
absolutely.
I
And
personally recommend that to people, not because I'm afraid of like a blown up account or something, but we are day trading. So if we have a slow period, if we have a loss at a time where it's inconvenient for you, so let's say, hey, I have an emergency in my life, I need to pull 20% of my account right now because I need to do
right,
something. And that month we had a losing month. You know what I mean? So okay, well now there's not as much profit there for me because I need some of this money for something in my life.
yeah,
So like getting the
yeah,
house money out, I think is always a good way of doing it, especially
absolutely.
if it's
No,
like if you were to say, "Hey, give me the gold algo, but two times the risk for me." We don't recommend it. But if a customer was really, really adamant on doing it, like increase the risk for me, I would definitely be saying, "Okay, if you do this, I would highly, highly recommend once you take make some profit, start taking it out consistently. Because if you're
yeah,
dialing the risk up, you have to do that." But even
absolutely.
as is at relatively low risk, considering what we're doing, I would still recommend the house money strategy to a degree. Even if like, hey, I put in 50K and then it's worth 75, I'll take out 25 of the original 50.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So if
And
I
and
ever
I
do lose money, I'm only losing a percentage of what's left, not the whole thing I put in kind of thing, you know?
correct, correct.
Yeah.
And I would
So
do
like our
that
systems
once.
have hard stops. So we would never lose 100%. It would only be a portion or like a third. That would be like the worst case catastrophic scenario.
Yes.
So that's where the
Yeah.
house money strategy comes in. Even if it's half of your house money,
Yes.
you're now in a position where you're never going to lose any actual core money that you originally put in,
Correct.
which is
Yeah.
smart,
And
right?
yeah, absolutely. And I would do that once the account grew to the point where I could do that. I,
Yeah.
I would definitely look into doing that. Or taking some of that house money and once I pulled out the original investment, taking some of that house money and opening up another account with you guys because I know there's
Using a
different
different
levels.
different strategy, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing it like
That's
a
the
little
high,
bit.
that's the less conservative strategy, right? Taking it out
Yes.
and investing more. But if this is the money you're using for day trading anyways, then there's nothing wrong with you're not going to get any reward without any risk, essentially, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and that would be something that once it builds up to the point where I can do that, I would absolutely do that. To look at some different types of trading with you guys. But
Smart.
I do like the idea of pulling at least 70 or 80% of that out, That way, if something does go wrong, at least you've got most of the core money back out,
Yeah, and it's
before.
no sweat off your back in that case.
Yeah,
It
the
won't
the
hurt
you
you.
know the anxiety the anxiety goes down quite a bit.
Yeah, you can go to sleep at night, even if you're using one of those companies that screws up. If you were able to somehow double your money with them first and then pull out house money and be like, hey, even if you fuck up now, it's whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
But with
yeah,
us, at
yeah.
least you know we're super, super dedicated to doing well long term. So at least you know I have a team of people that are going to keep working really hard to do a good job.
Yes. Yeah, and obviously, I'm looking, for a long-term relationship as well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do this for a year and then go, okay, well, I'm going to just pull all my money out. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you later. I'm
yeah,
looking for something for 4 or 5, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years down the line.
but
And, I'm recommending this, you guys, to younger people as well that are looking that have the foresight to do something long term. They're of the mind of not get rich quick type of people. They know, investing is risky, obviously, and they know the pros and cons of it. And they're not looking to, oh, well, I put, 5 grand in. Where's my 5 grand? I want it, I want it within 3 months. It doesn't
yeah,
work like that. So the people that I'm recommending to you know the fact that it's going to take some time to get there. But obviously, once you have that money, you're able to pull it back out, and like you say, just kind of let the money sit in there and let it grow. And if it
yeah,
loses some money, it's no sweat.
yeah. That's the
Um,
smart. That's the smartest way. That's how you
yeah,
do it.
that's the way I've done with the market. That's the way I do with futures. I had a bad week this week with futures. Last week I had a good week. So
Nice.
you're always not going to win, but
Yeah, true.
the goal is to at least win 70 or 80% of the time, which is what you guys do.
Yeah,
And if you can do that consistently, I think consistency is the goal for many things that we do in life. Anything that
yeah.
you do, if you do it well and you do it consistently, you're going to have some success at it.
Yeah.
So, you
That
know,
goes for anything too, not just day trading, right?
and
Anything in life you're consistent with.
absolutely,
Just
sports.
keep showing.
Look at the golfers out there. On the PGA tour. Those guys are they're consistent every week.
Yeah.
That's why they're out there on the tour.
It's
So
funny that you use the golf analogy though, because like I think John Daly was an example of a guy who just randomly showed up one day half drunk
yeah,
and he was somehow really good at golf.
yeah,
There's the
yeah.
odd anomaly like that.
Yes, there is.
And
Yeah,
then there's
no shoes
everyone
on.
else who works
Yeah,
really hard
yeah.
consistently.
I know. Yeah, he's like 3 pounds. He comes out no shoes on.
Yeah.
In his hand
And he's
and
like
crank 300 yards. Drives it as
yeah.
straight as. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah. I would love that
But
skill, but
I would love that skill
right?
too. Listen, we probably wouldn't be talking if I had that skill.
No crap, no crap.
I'd be out on the golf course now.
Yep.
But no, man, I definitely am looking for something long term, and obviously we'll be doing more business with you as soon as the funds are available. I'll be reaching back out to you.
Awesome, John. That sounds good.
Yeah, man. Good
So
deal. Good deal.
if it's okay, I have one last question for you, and then
Sure.
we can get off. And also, if you have
Okay.
any questions for me after that, you can hit me while you got me. Um,
Okay.
but my last question for you is the people you did speak to, and anybody else who ever speak to, what would you actually be saying to them? Be like, hey, this is the algo company I'm using. This is the algo I'm trading. Like, what are you saying to them to if they were on the fence, like, hey, I know this algo trading can be high risk, and they're not sure about it. What are you saying to that person?
Well, the when I recommended it to my son-in-law, I said,
Mhm.
so far this is what I told him the support that's there to get the account
Yeah.
set up. I told him, I informed him about the past trading that you guys have already done and the results that you've had from that. And I said, listen, this is the results that I've seen in a month, 2 months.
Yeah.
Check back with me another month if you want to see those results as well. But I
Nice.
think that what they say this thing does, it actually does. And they don't. Their concern is capital preservation, number one.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's probably that's the seller for me anyway, and that was the seller for him too. And he said, everybody I've always talked to doesn't even bring that up. They
Oh,
they just talk about how great the algorithm is, but they don't talk about
yeah.
capital preservation.
They're shining the
And
light on the shiny spots only.
yes, yeah, yeah. And I said it's I and he's aware of how trading goes. I said I think it's taken a couple of negative trades, but for the most part, it's way up. And I'll continue to show you the statements, and then you can make a decision on that yourself. But I would definitely recommend looking at this company just due to the fact that the capital preservation is number one, the support for getting out the account set up, and the seamlessness, is there. If you have a question on on anything, they get back with you immediately. And the proof is obviously, everybody's out to make money, and so far the thing's making money. So I don't see the downside in it. Obviously, there's going to be down times and down months, but if you look at it overall, if you look at it on a 1 year term or a 2 year term, you're getting a good return on your investment. And I think it's legit. I think it's the way to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I appreciate
yeah,
that, by the way.
yeah, yeah. And I again, I wouldn't be
It
recommending.
convinced me.
Yeah,
If I was your buddy and that's what you're telling me, I'd say that actually all sounds really good. Your
yeah,
understanding
yeah,
of the risk, but that so far it's been consistent and that you also really like the support. I think the support, I think that's the biggest thing for you, right? You're saying other than the results, the support's the biggest thing.
yeah. And of course, the emphasis on the capital preservation as well.
Gotcha.
That was one of the first things that you guys brought up. And again, you've talked to other companies and it's never even mentioned.
Gotcha.
They just tell you, oh, this thing is the greatest thing in the world. Come to find out 4 or 5 months from now, it really isn't.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
money that you've given them there's a chunk of it missing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big one. I think for anybody that wants to have, they want to have some type of security that the money that they're providing you isn't going to be gone in 2 months or three
Yeah.
months,
Overnight.
you
Yeah.
know, and that's a big one. That was a big one for me as well. And that
Gotcha.
was, that was kind of driven home when I did the original presentation with you guys.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So
Well, thanks for your time,
that's
John. I
kind
really
of,
appreciate it.
yeah, those are all kind of bullet points, but I mean,
Yeah, those are the key points essentially: support,
yeah, yeah,
capital preservation, and actual results that are happening for you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, obviously everybody wants results. Are you going to be quitting your job in the next 6 months? No. But,
Yes,
anything
that's
that you're not
realistic.
going to, yeah, you're not going to quit unless you win the lottery, but anything you
Yeah.
do, you're not going to quit even if you start your own business, you're not going to be quitting your job in 6 months.
You
It
might
doesn't,
need to because you need to put those hours in, but you most
you
likely
may,
haven't yet to
that's
do
right. That's
that.
right. You may have to,
Yeah.
but the people that I'm talking to are familiar with the market and they're familiar with trading, so they know it's not a get rich quick item. And that was
Yeah.
something that was
Smart.
also presented in the presentation, and I appreciated that because I don't think everybody realizes, oh well, I'm going to give these guys 5 grand, and in 6 months I'm going to be sitting on the beach in Tahiti somewhere,
Yeah.
raking in 5-6 grand a week. It just,
Mm.
I mean, I think that realistic, results are what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And so far that's what it's presented. That's what I've seen so far.
Very
So
good.
I'm super happy with it. I'm really happy with it.
Good. The
Yeah,
customers are happy, you're happy, we're happy. So that's all really all I
absolutely.
need to hear.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and we live off referrals here, and I would definitely refer you guys, to anybody that's looking to get into this type of trading for sure.
Awesome. We appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Good
Yeah.
deal.
Hey, if there's
Good
anything you
deal.
have for me, well, you got me, by the way.
No, I'm good, man. I'm,
Shoot away.
I mean, anything, I'll shoot you guys a message or something like that. But, I'm letting it run. I'm letting it roll. So we'll talk again in 6 months and see where it's at.
Okay, John, sounds good, man. Well, it was nice
Okay,
meeting
buddy.
you officially. Nice
Yeah, man.
talking.
You listen. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy being out on
Uh,
the water.
Thanks,
Hey,
man. I appreciate it. I'm
okay,
looking forward
take
to
it
it.
easy.
All right, bud. Take care.
Thanks.